He's the NRL's brightest young star, and Kalyn Ponga continues to show why. His partnership with an inspiring Mitchell Pearce guiding the Knights to a 12-point win over the Bulldogs, but it didn't come without a second-half scare. David Clemmer's first clash with his old club and first collision with his replacement at the Dogs, Dylan Napa.
And the first carry taken by Dylan Napa.
Edric Lee was energetic in his 100th game in his home city. So too Kalyn Ponga, who sent Heimel Hunt through a yawning gap.
What service from Kalyn Ponga.
Nick Meaney felt the fire from his former club.
Just in the field of play.
While Kieran Foran's early return from injury looked promising for the Bulldogs. The Knights' defence withstanding the pressure.
Defence of Newcastle.
The Knights skipper at his best, orchestrating then scoring his own try.
Kicks again, chases and dives to claim the try.
Lachlan Fitzgibbon celebrating his 50th match with a trademark Fitzgibbon try.
Fitzgibbon crashes over and he's saying, I have a try.
A 16-0 buffer at the break, but the Knights start to the second half. But magic.
Being intercepted and they are away.
Will Hopewate narrowing the margin as Newcastle went missing.
Fantastic for Will Hopewate.
The Bulldogs looked almost certain to make it 3 tries in a row, but along came Kalyn Ponga.
But the defence was waiting.
Newcastle desperate in defence as the clock clicked down. A brilliant step from the young superstar turned the tide and sealed the victory.
Now Ponga skips away and races towards 2 more premiership points for the Knights.
Newcastle's 3rd win in a row, leaving them knocking on the door of the top 8. It's been a fast start for the Dragons as they take on the Warriors in Magic Round. St George Illawarra racing out to an 18 points to 12 lead at half-time. Zach Lomax, Jay Field and Cameron McInnes have scored tries as the Red V look to bounce back from last week's loss to Parramatta. Penrith players, take note, your jobs are on the line. The Panthers have hit rock bottom and major changes are on the way. Coach Ivan Cleary has promised an immediate review of the club's entire football department after his side was mauled 30-4 by the Tigers.
Rarely has a club promised so much and delivered so little. So where has it all gone wrong at Penrith? Ivan Cleary is stumped.
There's more questions than answers, and we're going to have to find some answers for sure.
The Panthers were embarrassed in Brisbane. They trailed 24-0 after just 17 minutes. Their defence almost non-existent at times. Their attack barely firing a shot.
Tonight was sort of like the worst that we've played. And the first 20 minutes is, you can't just walk by that. There's obviously some things we've got to discuss.
Those discussions are already underway. Cleary threatening to put a broom through the broken and battered playing squad, vowing to scrutinise every part of Penrith's football department in search of a way out of their hole.
It needs to be some serious reflection, and we'll talk more over the next 24 hours. We're going to have to change something, whether it's personnel or something else. We've definitely got to make some changes. Keep doing what we're doing. It's not good enough.
Manly's medics are once again working overtime. Tafofa Sipley's season appears over after a serious leg injury, while a fractured finger to Moses Sully and an ankle problem for Appy Coruscant will be monitored. The depleted Seagulls were brave, but couldn't hold the Broncos at bay, going down 26-10. They're desperately hoping Dylan Walker's return is green-lighted by the Integrity Unit in time for next Sunday's clash with Cronulla.
Love to have him back. He's a great player on any side with Dylan Walker, and it's going to be better for it.
Brisbane had its own injury heartache. Jack Bird will miss the rest of the year after rupturing his ACL. His hopes of a Blues Origin comeback crushed. Luke Duffy, NBN News.
If James Roberts is looking to escape Brisbane, he can forget about joining old coach Wayne Bennett at South Sydney. Bennett today ruled out making a play for Roberts, leaving the Origin flyer to languish in reserve grade at the Broncos.
Wayne Bennett back in Brisbane for Magic Round. He won't be taking unhappy Bronco James Roberts to Sydney with him.
We haven't approached him, and James won't be coming to South Sydney.
This year?
This year, that's exactly right, and next year.
The Rabbitohs coach happy with his current crop of players for the time being. Most of all, Cody Walker, who will once again be pushing for Origin selection when South face the Cowboys tomorrow.
Well, he's a very talented player, believe me. Yeah, I've been surprised at just how good he is. Yeah, having coached against him. When we tried to get him to the Broncos about 3 years ago.
The Roosters aren't known as the most popular team in Sydney, but it appears they're going to have plenty of support when they take on the Raiders here in Brisbane tomorrow. Hundreds of fans turned up at their training session at North's Devils today, the junior club of Cooper Cronk. He will surpass Darren Lockyer as the second most capped player in NRL history tomorrow, playing his 356th match. As for how many games he has left,
There's been a few thoughts in my head of recent times, but I haven't fully made that ultimate decision yet, but he won't be dragged out for too much longer.
Latrell Mitchell is still in the infancy of his career, but his status as a superstar is skyrocketing. His future at the Roosters is under constant speculation, but he won't be making a decision anytime soon.
If anyone's, looking to go on open market, it's going to have, a bit of attention. But, for me to get it now, when I'm not even off contract yet, is, something I don't need to worry about.
Jake Duke, NBN News.
Finally, some relief for the Swans. Sydney claiming just their second win of the season, beating Essendon by 5 points in a thriller at the SCG.
We've been inconsistent this year so far. We haven't had the wins, but we've been pretty competitive at different times during the course of the game, but we've just dropped away. Tonight we didn't drop away.
The Swans' victory was overshadowed by a brain snap from Dane Rampy, the co-captain climbing and shaking the goalpost in what could have gifted the Bombers a free kick on the full-time siren. In just a moment, Liam Reddy's goalkeeping masterclass puts glory in the grand final. And disaster for Daniel Ricciardo on the opening day of practice in Spain.
So, Tracy, how much money did you say?
$189.
$189?
Yeah, I would recommend you. The whole process of changing insurers is really easy.
Real people, real savings. Try Yui. You can save lots. Call 13Yui or go to yui.com.au.
Indigenous babies die 3 times the rate of white babies, and politicians do nothing. That's racism, real racism. What do we value if it's not our children? Vote United Australia Party.
Authorised by Clive Palmer for the United Australia Party, Brisbane.
Get the luxury look for less with 30% off your second light or fan from Beacon's inspiring new winter collection. These on-trend designs instantly update any home on any budget. 30% off your second light or fan now.
This is the text announcing our new rewards program, Telstra Plus. It's important you see it because it explains you can soon earn points towards devices and more. That's why we've also put it here, and well, everywhere. Sure, we've sent a lot of texts before, but this one can lead to rewards. And just in case you didn't get the text, we've also put it here. Join Telstra Plus today.
Labor's higher taxes will impact everyone. Retirees, housing, families and more. And who will pick up the bill from Labor's spending spree? A generation of young Australians. Labor, it's the bill Australia can't afford. Authorised by AHERS, Liberal Party of Australia, Canberra.
Nature's Gift lets me give my dogs a variety of textures and flavours. I want them to eat well, so I choose natural. From dry food to wet, chilled to treats, Nature's Gift is the natural choice for your pet.
From all of us at Greater Bank, we'd like to thank our customers. You voted us Australia's most recommended customer-owned bank. We love the recommendations, and to keep them coming, here's how we can help your mate save. If you have a friend with a Big 4 bank, they could save over $30,000 on their home loan just by switching to Greater Bank. That's a massive saving, and they don't even have to talk to their current lender to switch. Help your mate save over $30K with Australia's most recommended customer-owned bank, Greater Bank.
Where are you off to?
Can we just go around the corner?
Yeah, no worries.
The field goes a long way at Macca's. Grab a double beef and bacon meal deal for lunch or dinner for just $5.
At the Nick Scarley Lounge Sale, up to 50% off selected items and discontinued lines. Save up to 50% off lounges. The Nick Scarley Lounge Sale. On now.
People living more than 200 kilometres from the capital cities will pay 20% less tax. 85% of Australia's wealth is from regions. Put Australia first, vote United Australia Party.
Authorised by Clive Palmer for the United Australia Party, Brisbane.
Perth Glory's veteran goalkeeper goalkeeper Liam Reddy was the hero in a high-stakes penalty shootout with Adelaide United. The game was locked at 3-3 at the end of extra time, with a spot in the grand final on the line. Save after save from Liam Reddy in the shootout, and he even slotted a goal himself. Then Joel Chianese secured the win. They'll, of course, face the winner of tomorrow night's Big Blue Showdown when Sydney FC host Victory in their A-League semi-final. Victory claimed top spot last year, but Sydney FC coach Steve Corica isn't going to let them have it again.
Our boys are ready for it. We want to play good football, but of course we want to win, and that's the main focus, to win and to get through the grand final.
It was a tough day at the Spanish Grand Prix for Racing Point driver Lance Stroll, who crashed out in practice. Australian Daniel Ricciardo also struggled, even after switching to a new power unit. Ricciardo finished the day in a disappointing 15th place, while Terry Bottas topped the timesheet. Another big day of racing in thoroughbred country. Wild Planet taking out the $300,000 English 3-year-old guineas at Scone Racecourse.
And then came Total Power. Wild Planet a length clear. Military Zone's peaked on the run. Wild Planet going strongly. Wild Planet leads all the way from Military Zone. Total
Contaparito claiming the Arrowfield Dark Jewel Classic.
It's Sabatiano in front. From the Gans to the outside. Coming home strongly. And Cotabatiro surging. Cotabatiro, the American import. Cotabatiro got up to beat Sabatiano and Ganza.
Newcastle sides claimed a clean sweep on rep weekend in local rugby league. In the main game at Maitland Sports Ground, it was the Ron Massey Cup side first on the board, but the Newcastle Rebels were quick to hit back. A nice kick from Alex Langbridge and the perfect bounce sent Sam Keenan over.
Great try. The Rebels are over.
Keenan ended up scoring 3 tries, Newcastle scoring a 30 points, 220 win.